All right. So I'm going to start with this for the second segment. When the organization started to grow, okay, what were some of the systems and models from the KW world maybe that were important that allowed your business to be less dependent on you? Obviously, you talk about leverage was the first key, right? Which should be everybody's first. But what were some of the things that you guys instilled that made you go, okay, because both of you are semi still in production. I think you guys dip in and out of production to kind of make an example for the people that are saying that the leads are no good. And we'll get into that in just a second. But what were like the two that were the game changer? Maybe one being leverage. What was another one?
The culture. Keller Williams culture goes a long
100%.
ways.
And you guys install that and talk about that. And that's kind of what you model your people that you want in your organization, correct?
Yeah, we're very thorough. When we bring someone in, you went on a meeting with me the other day. I want to physically meet with someone face to face, really probe and see what their expectations are, what they're looking to do, what their future looks like. I want to know every plan they have set in place and let them know the type of agent that we're looking for so that we can set that tone, like I said from the beginning, and not have someone have a false expectation of what we offer and what we can bring to the table. So really finding the right people that fit our culture. They never put money over morals. It's always doing the right thing no matter what, which really is instilled with Keller Williams to begin with.
You agree?
Yeah. 100%.
So I have a saying here. So there are some procedures that KW has, like we have what they call a KPA, which is kind of a personality assessment that categorizes them if they're a good fit. Prior to that, I always like to meet them face to face, similar to you, because if we don't people good, it doesn't matter what the KPA says. You could be the best listing agent on the planet on a KPA, but if we don't jive, right? And I think that's where a lot of people get bogged down. They're taking bodies instead of taking people.
Well, and nothing against the KPA, right? But sometimes those can be manipulated. And I feel like just because someone fills something out on a piece of paper doesn't necessarily mean they're going to fit and gel well with the team, because personalities can be different when you meet them face to face than what they fill out on that KPA. So to me, yes, the KPA is one step of importance, but meeting face to face with someone and truly diving into what type of character they are, I feel like I have a good gut feeling about that. And I can really tend to pinpoint how people's reactions are going to be to different circumstances.
Yeah, the face to face, just like with clients, face to face.
Yeah. And again, it's just like with clients, right? You're not going to win every deal because sometimes it's something other than your great 27-point marketing plan. Right. It's something about you they didn't like, something something we say, the way we dress, whatever. Team chemistry is a big thing. And I think that we all know the bigger the team gets, the harder that gets, because one bad apple can spoil the whole cart, right? So, we talked about the key hiring, and you guys are part of what they call expansion. And for people out there that don't know what expansion means, that means that inside the Keller Williams world, especially, what we have is we have an opportunity for people to build a team inside of our brokerage. So it's basically a mini brokerage, and there's really no limits. You guys are not restricted in any way on how big or small you can get. Now, you guys have taken it to the next level, and we have a program what they call expansion. And expansion allows you to bring your organization global if you want, right? From inside of our office in little Central Florida, you guys can grow an organization as big as you want, hundreds, thousands of people if you want. So first of all, what made you get into expansion? In other words, and this is where Angel comes in. You can explain who that is and why he's important to this equation. But what point did you guys hit here that you were like, okay, we need to expand, and why, and what that means as far as for somebody that's watching that doesn't understand why would you want to expand your team outside of the office, and what does that look like?
Just to help.
Take that first.
Just to help more clients the same way we're being helped. And we do have circumstances that kind of helped out. We did have some insight on different locations, like our Ohio team is where Angel is originally from. So he knew that market very well. So we had the opportunity with an agent up there that was on our Florida team that lived in Ohio also, that we expanded there and helping her build out a team up there to help her and all the clients and agents up there to have the same that we are down here, right? Same. And then same with Angel in Orlando. We expanded to Orlando that way. And same kind of happened in Texas. Matt can explain Texas a little more, how that came about, but that came on. So we just keep the same culture throughout, and we want all of our clients and agents to be the same. And we think we do a good product. So we want, everyone to have that same fulfillment.
And so for me as an outsider, hypothetically, if I'm listening to you talk about expansion, I'm sitting in Central Florida and I have an opportunity to expand into Ohio or Texas or whatever. Who does that? What does it look like? And do you set the same standards? In other words, is there an agent interview? How do you find prospective agents in other places that want? Because for a lot of people, especially single agents or even other rainmakers, the first question that I get every time is, well, the split. Like, how in the world could you possibly find somebody that would want to do that? Taking that out of the equation, how do you overcome that objection if there is one? And how do you find those agents? And do you set that same standard, which I like that word. We use that a lot around here. Expectations and goals are great, but we set a standard. That way there's some consistency. How do you find that agent? And then backing up, when did you decide, okay, we're going to expand? Who does that? And what does that look like?
So back in the day, before real estate, I worked for a university. Angel was actually my supervisor at the university, and Eric also worked with me there. So that's how me, Eric, and Angel came about. Eric, his mother was very good friends with my mother as well. So we kind of known each other for a very long time. Eric ended up moving to Texas due to work for his wife. So it was a good opportunity then to partner with him and start an expansion out there, since Angel had already started the expansion with us in Orlando when we brought him in to the group. So we had kind of had a little bit of a learning lesson. I will say that anyone that wants to do this, take it one step at a time. Don't try to grow too fast, because that's going to enter in a lot more problems for you. So I feel that at this point, we've kind of perfected it to where we know the ins and outs of how to go about starting it. Obviously, you have to have those conversations with the brokerages in those areas first to make sure that they can help support it as well. But we found that having a team lead at each location is the number one thing to help the growth and this keeping that expectation. Because if you have an unmanned battleship, right, there's no one there to see the day-to-day operations, it's gonna collapse. You just can't do it without someone boots on the ground in that location, keeping things in order.
So you have a location in Orlando. What other states?
So we have 2 locations in Orlando. We have Dr. Phillips and Lake Nona. Obviously here, Winter Haven is our hub. And then we have, technically, I guess, do we still have Jacksonville? It's kind of up in the air a little bit.
Yeah, Jacksonville and Tampa.
And then we're looking at expanding in Sebring, but it's a different MLS down there. So that's a couple things we got to work through. We have Cleveland, Ohio, which is kind of divided. And this is a learning thing for us too. I didn't know that Cleveland is separated in half. So you have an east side and a west side. So we cover all of Cleveland, east and west. And then we also cover Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So let's say Cleveland and Dallas. Let's say you're looking to expand in that. How do you find the agents?
Well, you got to get in and go, with the brokerage, interview the brokerage like you would anywhere else, make sure they're on the same standards. But that was a good thing with Keller Williams. Most of them were all the same, right? But you still want to get with the brokerage and the broker. You got to help each other out, have a win-win on that. And then a good team lead. And then when you're converting, people come.
Okay. So they're scouting for people for your team.
They help. Essentially, when we have those conversations on the front end, we tell them what we do. We have our sheets of expectations, our team agreements that we send to them. And we just tell them, like, hey, if there's anyone that you feel would be a better fit, maybe that's an independent agent or someone that's on the rocks, maybe that might be looking to leave the brokerage because they're missing one aspect of their business, maybe put them in front of us to see if we can fill that void. And it helps with retention and it helps with productivity for those agents, which bring in more revenue to the brokerage. So I feel it's a win-win for both us and them, having the relationships that we have with the brokerage.
Okay. So when you expand then, so it's basically the same thing as if they were sitting here.
Yes.
Right. And then another beautiful thing about the team expansion, and really the sky's the limit. If we can dream it, we can do it, right? You guys have a program that you guys have developed for agents that are struggling. That are not necessarily an invitation onto the team, but they also have a lifeline to try to get their business together with your help. And so, my point to that is we're not going to divulge that because that's something you guys are piloting and having some success with is, looking at the business today, what was the biggest bottleneck, right? Preventing you from, let's say, doubling your business from today. Is it just people?
I guess realizing it's better to cut ties with agents that are bad apples, right? That don't want to work more than you want. Because at the end of the day, we can want as much as we want for them. But if they don't want it, they're not helping out the whole team in general, right? We actually are a team. We're all together, working in this together. And if you don't want it the same way the other agent wants it, then why are they penalizing you? So it's better. We've learned it's better sometimes to let them go.
Right. And so with the current market, even where it's at right now, you still think that you could grow?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Based off of what? Just
we are growing.
And correct. And every day. The point is that this mindset that the market's kind of stagnant, interest rates are too high, but all that, you're still in growth mode.
Absolutely. And I think that's another thing that we really talk about. I'm sure the agents get sick and tired of hearing me talk about mindset, but I talk about it every single time we're on a meeting, because at the end of the day, it's all about your personal perspective of something, right? Again, no matter where you're at in the market, someone's always having to buy or sell a home for a certain reason.
Correct.
Right. So yes, maybe buying and selling is down because of certain situations, but people are still needing a home. Right. So it's dissecting your book of business on a weekly basis and a daily basis and looking at, okay, how do I attack that book of business and who is my ready, willing, and able buyer for the week that I need to hone in on to ensure that I get a deal a week, because they're there. The opportunities are there. It's how much do you want to put the effort into that opportunity to convert it.
Well, it's funny because I do this math all the time. So from a vision and a mindset standpoint, people say the market's down. 71% of agents didn't do a deal last year. Okay. So to put that into perspective, they're saying we're going to do approximately 5 million homes, which is technically a down market if you're not performing, right? 5 million homes are going to be transacted. There's only 1.5 million agents nationwide, and 71% of those people didn't do a deal. So if you take that into perspective, whatever that number comes out to,
29% need to sell 5 million homes.
29% of the people need to sell 5 million homes. There's a lot of business out there for performing realtors, right? And that's why I wanted to bring you guys in here and talk, because again, you're going against the grain. All the stuff that most single agents that are struggling, market, interest rates, business is down, the heat, the president, Fed, Iran, gas, whatever.
Inflation.
And you guys are growing. Right. Which is kind of funny because in your eyes, let them keep talking about that.
I don't care about any of that.
Keep letting them talk about that because they're taking their eye off the ball and you guys are in growth mode. Right. So I'm going to throw it back a little bit and take you guys and make you kind of go retro a little bit. And I'm going to let both of you answer this and then we'll end it. If you were starting over in a brand new market tomorrow with no database and no brand recognition, what would your first 90 days look like?
Answering the phone. Get in front of every client possible. I mean, you got to start out right.
Right. Conversations are king, right? Without conversations, you can't have appointments, and without appointments,
if I'm not in front of you, I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
I don't have a bat. I'm getting in front of everybody possible. At the gas station, Matt's good at getting people at the airports. It doesn't matter where they're at. You talk about real estate, everybody.
So the one skill that you would master would be to make sure that you're comfortable having as many conversations as possible. Because I have a saying, right? It's like people who like the phone prospect or people that don't like the phone prospect. It's not like they don't like the call. They're scared somebody's going to pick up because they don't know what to say, right? So if we can fix that, then it boosts staff. And conversations are king. It doesn't matter. Even if you get a name and a phone number and an email address on a piece of paper, at some point, you're going to have to talk to those people. So again, great answer. I'm going to let you answer that same thing. So in the first night, if you were to go somewhere where nobody knew you, brand new market, no database, no brand recognition, what would you do? What would your first 90 days look like?
Well, you say something all the time that I actually love, and it's get good at being uncomfortable, right? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. In this industry, in my opinion, you need to be very good at talking to anyone and everyone around you, no matter what you're like in the grocery store, for instance, right? So it's just having uncomfortable conversations. And like Sam said earlier, everyone is an opportunity, right? So I don't care if you're pre-approved. I don't care if you're working with another agent that showed you 10 houses a year ago. I want to get in front of everybody so that I can show them what I bring to the table, because once they see that, they're going to want to use you. Because you're different than everybody else. You're not talking all the other nonsense about, oh, well, this and that. All of that to me is an excuse. Just let me figure out what you're trying to do, and I'm going to help you to solve that problem. That's all I am. I'm not a salesman. I'm a problem solver.
Correct. And that's something that I used to tell my team and the realtors that work for me were, we're professional problem solvers. And what does that look like? Well, we're going to have people don't wake up every day going, man, I hope I find a realtor with a 27-point marketing plan. They wake up going, I'm about to get a divorce and my wife needs a house. I need to get rid of this house because I can't afford it. We're going to go in different directions. I need somebody to help me. And if you can solve that problem and using their language, right? It's not sticking a marketing flyer and they're going, I can help you.
Oh, that's the problem, right?
Right. It's, hey, I understand how you feel. I've been where you have been, or we've helped other people in your similar situation, that type of thing. So you mentioned something and you're right. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, but there's got to be, I think you guys do a great job of that, is putting your people into position to win. In other words, if you're uncomfortable opening your mouth, you got other problems. But being uncomfortable having a conversation with people, when you give them winning words, and there's not a lot to learn there, it's just really, be genuine, right? Which you guys do a great job of. And it's funny because there's different scales of people that are in your position that I run across on basis. And there's these people that they're beyond learning anything. They're I know, right? They're crushing it. They're thing, and whatever you bring to the table, like, yeah, I know. Or you guys literally are pouring into your people. You're making making a statement to your people by, instead of telling them, oh, you're stupid or get out of here, you take the work on, you take the leads and opportunities on and show them that, hey, right? Because I think you're currently in production pretty heavily, correct?
Yes. Last couple of months, I had to get back in.
And what's your pipeline look like?
Because the lead sucked.
Yeah, the lead sucked. So we always trial and error everything before we bring it to our agents because we want to make sure it works first.
Right.
Probably, I think 16 closed and 8 pending.
In 2 months.
In 2 months, right?
But the leads suck.
Right. And it's the same leads, right? They aren't the Glengarry leads, right? Right. The secret leads.
So we had to make sure, we got to make sure the leads are still good. We all go back, we periodically go in and test them and try to, some of them are the old leads that were sucking and they rejected them, but now they're under contract.
Right. And a lot of times, what does suck mean? The suck means that they're taking too long, right? Which means that they're the timing. So, and what happens is it's no different than being a farmer and planting corn, right? The one that you planted first 9 days ago is going to sprout faster than the one you planted yesterday, right? And if you don't pay attention to that one too, you're going to lose it, right? So it's no different than leads. And I think sometimes what I really enjoy about what you guys and how you run your team is that you're willing to stick it out there and go, look, I'll take these and let's chat. And then instead of making an example out of them, you're being the example.
It's an aha moment, right?
Right. We're running a marathon. It's not a sprint. Let me show you, because you might be a great sprinter, but let me show you how to be, right? Which is, there's a lot involved with that. So I think that that's a huge opportunity for people. And if you're watching this and you're lost and you want to have a conversation, I'm sure that they would be glad to have a conversation with you. But again, I appreciate you guys taking your time. I know it's valuable, and we're going to do this more often. So this is kind of the maiden voyage here. So we appreciate it. You guys take care.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.